First, though, we bring you some breaking news. Sky Sports News understands that scans are expected to confirm.
I think everyone who is a sportsman prefers to win a game based on the right decision of the referee and not based on a mistake of a referee. If maybe it takes away the joy of some, it gives the joy to others when a decision is changed. It is already today unimaginable to think about football without VAR. It helps the referees.
Who respect our fans, who respect our culture, who respect the values that are European values, not only football values. And by my opinion, this idea is a spit in the face of all football lovers and our society as well. So we will not allow them to take it away from us.
What do you think, Rob? To replay or not to replay?
You can't replay because this is not the first goal that was a genuine goal that was not given. But the key thing is you can't replay it because it does open up, because pretty much when you go through the course of the season, you can have so many games, so many goals, so many decisions where there's a decision from VAR or the ref and it's completely seen in a different way. But you can't replay it. I don't think so. And the worry for the Premier League is a lot of the Premier League teams decided not to allow or go with the automated VAR. And for me, from the beginning, I've never liked VAR because you do lose the spontaneity of football, the goal celebrations. Every player now, you automatically see every player and every fan now almost like lose that moment that we all go to a football game for. And that's not football. That's not the pureness of why we all love football. We all love football because there's going to be a goal scored. And I think we're losing the main thing.
OK, we're going to start, though, with that developing story in Lisbon. Real Madrid's Champions League playoff tie at Benfica was stopped for 10 minutes after Vinicius JR reported alleged racist abuse by an opponent. A number of the newspapers are covering this, including The Sun. Just to fill you in on what happened, Sun here has got it there. Vinicius walk-off. A number of other newspapers have picked up on it as well because it is a big, big story. This is not the first time it has happened. Vinicius walk-off, Brazilian in race row by Martin Blackburn in The Sun. He just scored, Vinicius Jr. He'd celebrated, which some of the Benfica players had not taken kindly to.
Right, let's get back to Arsenal, see what's happening on the injury front. But more importantly, the free kick front. It is being lined up. Who's going to take it, Merce?
Yeah, if it's Rice and Odegaard over, it's about 25 yards out left of the goal. For me, it's for Rice to bend it over the wall. He bends it. What a goal!
Did you see?
Oh, my, he's in his free kick and he's bent it into the top corner. It's a phenomenal free kick. Oh, my God. Rice, baby. Wow. Wow, what a goal. Honestly, I can't explain. The first one was good. This one is better. It's unbelievable. And Courtois over that side. And he's bent it, whipped it, and you beat Courtois from there. It's unbelievable. What a goal.
What a goal.
What a goal.
Oh, wow.
I promise you, they're watching their games. Oh, my goodness. What did I just say? In 338 games for West Ham and Arsenal, Declan Rice had never scored a direct free kick. He has just scored two in 12 minutes. Two free kicks of the highest order. Beckham would have been proud of those. And Arsenal and the Declan Rice double are 2-0 up against the holders, Real Madrid. And Arsenal fans will enjoy watching those over and over again. Two beauties from the boot of Declan Rice. And Arsenal in control now against the European champions with 20 minutes to go.
Including Gianluca Prestiani. They exchanged some words. That is Prestiani there. You can see him covering his mouth. They exchanged words. Then Prestiani covered his mouth, said something, and immediately Vinicius Jr. ran to the referee and told him he'd been racially abused. The referee then immediately stopped the game, as is the UEFA protocol, and it was stopped for 10 minutes in the end. You can see the referee here being told by Vinicius, this is in The Guardian. Soon after that, he made a sign which signals the game is to be stopped. It can only be started again if players on both sides agree to restart it, which is what must have happened because 10 minutes later it did. But in the meantime, Vinicius, as you can imagine, looked visibly upset. There was all sorts going on off the pitch, on the pitch with some of the players. One of the Benfica backroom staff got sent off, and it was just pretty ugly scenes all round. John, if I could come to you first on this then. As I mentioned there, it's not the first time this has happened. In fact, it's the third time Vinicius Jr. has been involved in this kind of a situation with racism involved. If this is true, if what was said was racist, is this arguably the most blatant instance of it that we've seen involving Vinicius?
Well, I think it's certainly the most high profile because of the Champions League setting. I did watch it unfold, and it's truly shocking and disgraceful, incredibly upsetting. I just cannot believe that in 2026, football still hasn't really, I don't feel, got a handle on this. I mean, imagine if you are Vinicius Jr., who's a wonderful player, an absolute genius on the ball, scored an absolutely incredible goal. And do you know what he did next? He celebrated. I mean, imagine having the audacity to do that. And then basically, he did it, yes, admittedly near the Benfica fans, but that's what he does. That's the joy of the game. He's a beautiful player. He's entitled to celebrate. And the one that gets punished in the immediate aftermath is Vinicius Jr. for the celebration. I mean, you just honestly, it defies belief. You know, Look, I think the referee is then faced with a difficult situation. I do get that. But what does that look like? You know, then basically the sort of kind of the immediate yellow goes for him. And there is an anti-racism protocol here, which was, put into place by the referee, Francois Letexia. And, it's a difficult one to deal with. It was Vinicius Jr. who then leaves the pitch, walks off the pitch, takes a seat in the dugout, and at that stage, as you rightly say, it's the players can, I guess, join him, and they have to agree to restart. But this is not, as you say, the first time it's happened to Vinicius. He's been sent off twice, I think, in Spain for instance, after being racially abused during a game. Honestly, what on earth are we thinking about here? Trent Alexander-Arnold describing it as a disgrace to football, I think, afterwards. Honestly, if this doesn't shine a light and really shame football and shame it into really taking stronger action against the perpetrators, against the people that do that, then really, I don't know where we are, because we're in a World Cup year and a strong message absolutely has to be sent out after this absolutely shocking, disgraceful episode.
Yeah, Daniel, John makes some really good points there. A lot of people seem to not like Vinicius Jr. They don't like the way he celebrates. They just generally don't like his behaviour. But the bottom line is, isn't it, that none of that ever excuses racism.
Yeah, you're allowed not to like footballers. You're allowed to have your favourites, and you're allowed to have your least favourites. But there is a line, and it's many, many miles before incidents like this. I was also fairly disappointed in his teammates, in Prestiani's teammates. I think as John says, this is the highest profile incident. I think Vinicius in 2024 in an interview said, if it happens again, I'm just going to walk off the pitch. He's told people what's going to happen. He said, I'm going to need to take my own stand because I don't feel like football is doing enough for me. So if it happens again, I walk. It happened again. He said, he tells the referee it's happened again, and he walks. In that situation, I would have liked Real Madrid's players to walk off with him and say, no, we won't come back until that player is substituted. You can say, well, that changes the dynamic of the game. So what? Football doesn't matter on a Tuesday night in the Champions League, whatever the occasion, if it is allowed to take precedent over an incident of racial abuse. And again, you just feel for Vinny, who is you know, he won't want to let down his teammates. He will want to carry on playing, but he will be sat there tonight thinking, well, what else do I have to do? You know, this is 1, 2, 3 times. You know, once is never, twice is always. It's happened 3 times. What does that mean? Can I ever be, you know, can I ever trust to go on a pitch again in this competition and not be abused by supporters? And it's, you know, it's far, far too far, and it's not on one person. It shouldn't be him carrying the weight of that responsibility, whether it's for that game, for his team, for the anti-racist movement. It shouldn't be on him. He has to get some help.
John, they stopped for 10 minutes and then started playing again. Does that make any difference? And does the UEFA protocol need changing? Does it need to be a bit stronger than that?
Yeah, I do think it does. I don't know quite what the answer is, if I'm brutally honest. But I do agree with Daniel in that basically, I do think at times it's I guess it's almost onto the players and their sort of kind of support and reaction. Look, we talk about, don't we? We hear people saying, "Oh, kind of the best way to show them is that old ridiculous cliche, show them on the pitch." I'm sorry, but that's just tired old nonsense in my view. You know, I've been in situations previously a couple of times with England when you've had sort of kind of really serious racist abuse, and then what is the best pathway to do? Is it then to leave